crew short Calypso stripe with the canopy. It's such a dialed truck too.
Crew shorts. I'm telling you, man, the crew short world. I love the single cab short bed trucks, but crew shorts. I don't think I can sell that one I bought to flip. I bought that thing to sell, and I don't think I can sell it. I think I have to stick with it. In fact, we have a new website.
I saw.
Yeah,
it's looking good.
Well, thank you.
I
It's
think
not my doing. Trust me.
The same theme as us.
Are we?
I
Fuck.
think. No, but like laid out differently.
Oh,
it's good.
Anyway,
it's good.
We paid a person to do it, dude. It wasn't my doing. So, on the video, I was looking. Just Ricky and I are going to the website, and then Oscar's trucks on a video that Kenny and I did, and Oscar's got Weld Spermy Boys on there.
Oh yeah.
And I go
still.
No, they were rented, and so I was watching that video, and I'm like, oh man, Oscar's truck being a crew short with welds on it, like 37s. It looks so good. I was like, holy shit! Like we should probably keep that crew short truck and put it on Weld Super Singles on Super Duty axles or something. I've got a set of Weld Super Singles for it, 17s. I'm like, and then I see your truck over here. I'm like, crew short or the crew short, and I'm like,
yeah,
there's something about a crew cab in a short box that looks pretty damn good.
They're pretty cool.
They are.
I
cool.
think the other truck's gonna get shortened.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna shorten that sucker? We have in our bed, don't you?
I have a bed for it. I have to swap the bed no matter what, because the bed that's on it is
roached.
Which is surprising because the cab is actually really straight. Like the rest of the truck is pretty clean.
Well, someone used it as a truck. I mean, that's just how it is.
But the bed is just like ultimate roach.
Well, that's not the end of the world. You know.
And I have a clean, straight short bed, and I have a clean, straight long bed.
Same color?
No, neither one of them are the same color. Well, one of them paint. Oh, I'm not wrapping anything.
You know, I'm not
a wrap guy.
Well, I'm not a rap guy. I don't like rap regardless. I'm more of a
punk guy. I can do rap music.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big like wrapped vehicle.
I don't know. I've seen some that look pretty good, and for like the price point, I can see why people do it.
Right.
I'm
not. Yeah.
I like the flat when you see one with like flat black. Certain vehicles and they have the flat colors look kind of interesting.
Totally.
Right. Some vehicles pull it off.
Yeah.
Sports cars especially.
Yeah.
When you see them wrapped.
Yeah. High end
sports cars. Lifted trucks. It's hit and miss.
And I'm not knocking it. Like, isn't there a guy, is it Taylor Day?
Taylor Day's looks good.
His looks good.
His second wrap, I think, looks way better. He had like a burgundy before, like I don't know, being colorblind is weird to me, but it looked, I think the second wrap looks better, but his truck, like, dude, it looks pretty legit.
The thing I struggle with is I like paint.
Yeah.
I think I want it to, like, it's going to be either all Oxford white or may go the Jesse Ewing route. Not that it won't be OG. Nothing about the truck's OG, so I don't really care.
Do that Calypso color?
Do a Calypso stripe. I don't know.
The Calypso color is such, like, there's no other paint code or color that looks as good as that Calypso color with white or other,
Yeah.
That is such a cool, Ford had it dialed back in the day. So did Chevy square bodies. There was colors back then that shit on anything.
We
being
did a
produced.
whole episode on it.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I still go back to it. Like, I look at the Bronco and that copper with the tan. I'm like,
yes.
I told Oscar, like, we should fucking paint a truck that color combo because you don't see those colors very often.
Make an Eddie Bauer truck would be pretty cool.
It would be way cool.
Like matching it all, but you wouldn't be able to use like your Super Duty seat brackets unless you had Super Duty seats with the OG Eddie Bauer stuff put in them.
Right.
That could be kind of neat.
It would be kind of cool. I think that, or you do like a Showman seat with the colors that look like, I don't know. Hey, with enough fucking money, you could do whatever you want in this world. It just takes dollars, right, and time. But an Eddie Bauer like F350 that they never produced
would be pretty neat.
With the Eddie Bauer colors would be cool.
And, like at the show, you get the Eddie Bauer luggage.
Oh, yes.
You put that in your back seat with the window rolled down enough where you can see.
Wasn't the Eddie Bauer stuff such tool bag shit back in the day? It was like tennis courts and fucking golfing shit, right?
And they were like always at the outlet mall, like the Eddie Bauer shops were like, oh.
I found another Eddie Bauer store in Lincoln City.
No way.
Yeah, Lisa and I were going through Lincoln City.
Yes. Of course, the Oregon Coast would have an Eddie Bauer store.
Like, we're driving through, and it was like one of those stupid little strip malls. And I'm like, Lisa, there's a freaking Eddie Bauer store. Dude, we got to cruise in there. I got to see some of the shit that's in there. It's like it's like your vest, and this whole
like LL Bean.
Correct. Yeah. Same people made it. Guy named Eddie and Bauer got together, and LL Bean got together. They made their own fucking it's like Wincoat and Coastal Farm. Same shit, just different branded. 100%.
It's so funny.
Yeah. All right, what are we talking about today? We got some questions or answers or all those things we have to get to.
Today, and people are going to figure this out, that our podcasts are not released like live day of.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
You mean we don't have enough time to cruise over here for one at a time?
Yeah, so we kind of batch them.
Yeah.
But
John and I have full-time gigs where we try to portray truck builders with a Z.
Yeah.
Or business operators, I'm going to call it that.
Yeah. And business is going well, which is fantastic. And I thank all the listeners that support us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You make this happen. And I am so blessed and so stoked.
And we really appreciate all your guys' questions and stuff. We started this podcast, like I've said before, as an excuse to hang out so the wives wouldn't catch on to us just drinking here and bullshitting. I mean, really, that's what we kind of started as. And then we just then decided, okay, that's why you've seen us be more consistent recently. We're like, let's see if we actually grow this thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do anything with it.
And there's enough listeners that are like, when's the next episode? It's like, okay, we do need to do this.
Right. And so we're trying real hard to keep it consistent. And I mean, we don't consider ourselves podcasters by any means.
We got recognized at lunch.
Yeah, right. As Derpy Pod. Anyway, John, we're just like, you know what? Let's just answer some questions. And we're trying to be like pretty transparent in how we operate here.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's transparent. So today, Kenny posted on the Truckery Podcast Instagram social and said, new episode recording today. What do you guys want to hear about? So we've gotten a lot of responses. And I think we're just going to cruise on down the line.
And we love the comments and responses.
Posted that 5 hours.
You can make fun of me being a leprechaun is short, or John loving Audis and Volkswagens. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, Jesse likes to do the leprechaun one.
I love Jesse. He's quite the character.
I do too. He's a great guy. Okay, so the first one then that we'll go for, well, first to acknowledge Jesse, he sent us Pre-Runner Ranger, super sweet, and from a previous podcast talking about Dodges and the first gen stuff, and says was watching or catching up on the podcast, and the Leprechaun was going on about old Dodge trucks. I'm not a red guy, but this one looks good. So this truck, it is pretty sweet. It's a 75 Dodge W100 Power Wagon.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Is that a factory paint?
I don't know. I'm not I
hope it is.
I
feel like they did that. Like they did that paint code when they did what was the Dodge
Ram Charger?
No, the Daytona cars where they had the fucking wing and the paint.
That Daytona wing is so cool.
It's something, all right. It is definitely interesting, but the nose is all dude. But it was funny is I feel like Chrysler back in the day, whoever was marketing had these wild ideas of hey, let's do a paint scheme where it's like this, right?
Yeah.
Or let's do a wing and let's just make this whole thing the paint.
Well, you've heard Rogan's theory on it.
No.
Is that the 60s and early 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, car design or into the early 70s was just really good. You know, people came out with just pretty cool designs. And then you get into the 80s.
With the shit.
Yeah. And it
Except for bull noses. Except for bull noses.
Coincides with the same time that psychedelics were outlawed.
Oh.
And so
the man keeping us down.
And cocaine became more popular. So his whole theory is that back when psychedelics were not illegal,
sure,
there was a lot more artistic vibe,
creativity.
Yeah,
100%.
And then you get into the 80s, right when the Reagan administration or whatever administration came in and outlawed psychedelics and the hippie movement and all of that.
Sure,
car design just went to complete garbage.
I can see that. It's funny because
interesting.
It is, and we don't get political on this.
No,
I'm
not. This is not at all to be political.
But I think you have to have both of those worlds. You just can't go full on one or the other too far.
Exactly.
Which is what we have we had in the past, but it's funny.
We can have currently.
Correct. You kind of have to have I always tell Lisa the creative mind doesn't come from a conservative mindset a lot of times. It comes from a liberal mindset. I hate to say that, right? Music, art, design. It usually, not all the time, but it sure seems like it comes, at least from my perspective, always comes from more of an outside thinking, free thinking, liberal mindset,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we just go too far with it, right? Like the whole whatever.
Both sides go too far.
Too far. But then you go hardcore the other way, and you wouldn't like. It'd be like staunchy, boring white bread bullshit, right?
Yeah, it would
like
be terrible.
that's where the K car came from, people.
Yeah.
Like there's some guy like, let's make a fucking passenger car that's like really cool, and some guy go like, well, I really like the K car. It's like it's square bodied and like I don't like any round. Like it's fucking hilarious to me.
It is.
And so it's like you gotta have. I feel like you have to have an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
You just can't have too much of one or the other.
No, life is all about balance.
Right, and it's like. You can't just drink whiskey all day. You got to drink some water and maybe some beer. You can't just do one of the like full fledged.
Exactly.
Like I said, you can't just snort cocaine all day long. You're gonna come off the rails.
Nope. I don't even know. Yeah, I've never tried that one.
No, I'm staying away from that one. I'm okay.
I am too.
Yeah, that's good.
I honestly think I would like it too.
Okay, so let's talk about these. Spirit off a little bit. Let's talk about this real quick here.
Okay, so the first thing, or the first person to send something today, I believe, was from John. He wants to talk about OBS frame flex. Are there any proper ways to reinforce and limit frame flex? And for those who seriously off-road these trucks, i.e. someone like John or JP.
I think JP takes it to the next level.
JP does.
Yes, he does.
Notice any frame cracks or other issues. I have a crew cab short bed that is down to the frame. Is there anything I should do with it while I'm at it?
I check all the rivets.
Yeah.
A lot of the cross members and everything are riveted together.
Yep.
Check your rivets. But real quick, I believe these trucks have way more frame flex than most vehicles.
Yes.
Especially modern day vehicles. But I also think that's what keeps them alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that these trucks are still on the road after 30 years or plus being a brick nose or bull nose, and they're still operating.
And there's a lot of them still operating as trucks
and pulling heavy weight,
like work trucks.
Yes, and they still live. And I truly believe it's because of the amount of flex we have in the frame that helps with that.
Right.
I could be wrong. I'm not an engineer. I would never list myself as an engineer, but I would definitely say I believe that's what's going on. Now, is there something you should look for? Yes, they had cross members crack out.
Yeah.
We've seen that before. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yep.
But you do see that. Sky has a repair bracket for it, if I'm not mistaken.
For the front.
For the front. Yeah.
It's very common on leaf sprung trucks.
Yeah. And so you can look for the crack out in the cross member around rivet on the driver's side, if I remember right, where the cross member joins the frame. The only one I've ever seen, I've seen some cracked, but the only one I've ever seen was there was a crew cab I went to go buy. It was way up in Portland area. And he said that the truck, it was a two-wheel drive, 7.3. It was a lower mile truck, but he said Kenny went with me too. He said, driving down the road, it starts shimming and vibrating.
Right. And
what happened was the cross member actually broke away from the driver's side frame. And so when you steered, the frame horns, the only thing keeping the frame together was the bumper.
Yeah, so that'll give you a little bit of flex.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say that I've seen. Other than that, I haven't seen a lot. Skylar talks about seeing cracked out stuff back in the day, but I don't know, John. Have you seen a lot of frame issues in your world? It's okay. They can still hear you.
Sound effects. I have not seen cracked frame issues personally. I've seen them online, and some of it can come from
misuse
and too many holes drilled in the back of the frame.
Really? Swiss cheese doesn't cause
airbags and you're like all these different things if you're drilling holes in bad places. But I'd like to visit a story that one of my buddies told me about, who's a mechanical engineer, and also owned a mobile welding truck and did structural welding repair stuff. And so there was some excavation company that had, I forget what kind of trailer or dump truck or whatever, but it was a dump truck or a trailer for hauling gravel and whatnot, that continually had issues with cracking.
Okay. The frame
or some aspect of it. And what he did, like he's looking at it, he's like, this thing's been so reinforced that it doesn't have any room to flex. So because somebody like came in and aftermarket like
gusseted it and shit like that.
Did all this stuff. Yeah. And so he went in and he fixed the broken part, but then also cut out a bunch of the reinforcements to give it the ability to flex more. This is done by a mechanical engineer. And afterwards, and it's not like he went in and calculated anything. He was just looking at it. Cut it out. After doing that, it no longer had cracking issues anymore.
Interesting.
And so that being said, like I don't like the frame flex, and it does. It's one of those things that I really want to address, and if I could address it and market it as a product, I would, but I don't think I will for a long time because I'm going to do some testing on the Duramax truck to try to eliminate as much of the frame flex as I can, but eliminating the frame flex is easy. Not a problem. I can do that pretty quick. But testing it and putting it through its paces to see if it's going to crack or break somewhere else due to restricting that flex takes a lot of testing, like long-term
well,
testing.
You need to do it over several years. You won't know. Just
exactly.
Like, how do you oh yeah, we test this for 2 years. Well, maybe it takes 4 years for it to start to develop.
Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is. I know JP's pushed his truck hard. He's broken things,
but he's never cracked his frame, has he?
No.
Never pulled a rivet out of the cross member.
No, and we've looked because
that's impressive.
He has, he's that truck for how he's been using it or has used it in the past needs a full engine cage and a full bed cage. And it'd be nice to tie the whole thing together. Like you either need to go so stiff that nothing is going to flex or break, or it's got to have enough room to flex and stay. I don't even know what you'd call it, but like, move. And with his, like he's broken the front axle in half. That was
gnarly. That we pull a fucking like you break that differential like he did.
Yeah,
that's next level.
Well, and he did that with our front suspension, which is very strong, but it does not have like a crossover tube in the engine bay. It is not like And the part that I was amazed at, I'm like, wow, so your axle snapped before your shock towers and your frame folded, without having a upper strut brace. It still broke the axle, which is a testament to how strong that is.
Which is badass, which is a fucking selling point. Look at what Greg's stuff does for Broncos. Solo and Greg.
Yeah.
Look at that, which is basically the front end of those and the rear in some way are almost the same as your F-150, F-250 in a lot of ways, right?
They're the same.
And look what guys are doing with Broncos in the desert with cut and turn beams.
Yep.
And coilovers and all that stuff. And those frames take it.
They do take it. Yeah.
And you look at then you have the next level guys that cage it and all this stuff that make them go fast Broncos. But the frames are still there and they're taking a beating.
Yeah.
I think the testament to our truck's chassis is the flex. And when we take it out of it is when you're going to, like John said, like the guy who's an engineer, mobile welder, that's what you're going to start seeing that stuff.
You're going to start breaking things.
I do believe, I like how the cross, shackle reversals tie the front end of the frame together.
Yes.
I do like that. I think all of our trucks, regardless running your suspension kit or whatever, should tie the front end together because there's so much real estate there. Like it's like cross member, or front end cross member, and then there's like a ton of real estate there.
And then bumper.
Yeah, and I really truly believe that front end does need to be a little more reinforced together.
The nice thing with ours, for one, going to a linked front end, whether it be an 05 and up Super Duty swap or going with like our coilover front suspension, is you do eliminate that front twist action that you get from the leaf springs attaching to the front of the frame. So that really helps. The other thing that helps is our track bar / panhard bar, whatever terminology you want to use. The bracket.
Track bar is front, panhard's the bar's the back. I've been always
Is
told.
it really?
That's what I've been told.
I like that.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I appreciate that. It ties the engine cross member and the frame rail together on the driver's side.
Yeah.
Which helps hold all that together. And then technically, really the only leverage in front of that would be your steering box.
Yeah. Pushing and pulling on it.
Yep. And then aside from that, it's just core support.
Yeah. It's funny because it was John, right, that asked this question. Yep. Here's the deal. Like, I think in my world, I wouldn't take a truck that's worth that much money and beat the shit out of it. I mean, look what a crew cab short beds are going for nowadays. They're fucking hard to find.
Yeah.
They're like, right? They're like,
yeah.
They're no different than the rest of the OBSs, but like those years of trucks were only made for 2 years. They're a little more sought after right now. I wouldn't buy one and go, hey, I'm going to charge this thing through the whoops.
Oh.
No. To me, I'd rather like, hey, I'll pull the boat with it, have a good time with it. Go up in the woods.
Or call me and be like, hey, can we go charge your crew cab short bed?
Yeah, we'll do John's truck. We'll take John's truck out and rally the shit out of it because I didn't put my. But everyone's different. I'm like, okay. Some people like to party with old shit. Some people like to party with new shit. Who knows? But
yeah,
I don't know.
I'll keep John if you're interested. I am going to attempt this in the near future on my personal truck. It's not going to be a production product right out the gate. It may be years before that ever happens.
Well, you can use John as a test guinea pig.
Yeah, but I don't want somebody else to test. And the other thing is, like, there's different leverage aspects between a single cab and a long bed and a crew cab long bed and everything in between. There's so many factors that play into that. I'm going to test it out. If I come up with something that I'm willing to share, that I will let you know.
I guess I wonder how much off-road is this guy going to do? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Are we just going up in the woods and like messing around on like logging roads? Or are we going like full on crawling with it? Or are we doing like JP stuff and I'm hitting whoops at 55? I
mean, if you're doing that.
Well, okay. What's the gentleman with the IDI bullnose that's coming to the truck show?
Yeah. Juan Torres?
Dude, he's doing whoops in that truck.
Oh, yeah.
And that frame's taken. I don't think that frame was like overly done.
No. He's got a mild bed cage.
Yeah.
And he's got no engine cage, but he does have essentially a strut bar.
Yeah.
But he rips that truck.
And that right there, that's a gnarly truck. And like,
you'll still see frame, like bed and cab flex being a little different.
Yeah, but see, I think that's what saves them almost.
I agree.
So like, I hope this answers your question, John. This is what our experience is. Not like we're engineers, like we said. This is just what we've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever. I know I'd always talk to Skylar about this, and he's kind of this always says the same way. Skylar's kind of been doing it a little bit longer in a lot of ways. He's seen a lot of shit, and he's always like said that to me is like he thinks it was like his comment was about the same.
Yeah.
And what he's seen. So yeah.
Well, and the other thing is when I talked to my buddy Chuck about this, the engineer, he was like, think of it like a ladder. Because I asked him, would boxing the frame help this? And he's like, no, that's not really what you need to do. It's like, think of it like a ladder. If you had like the beefiest beams on the ladder. Okay, so if those of you that are listening, the beams of a ladder are your main like up and down pieces. The rungs are the cross pieces. So if you think of your frame like a ladder, the rails would be the beams and the cross members would be the rungs. So let's say you've got like the most stout beams that you can get.
Okay.
And then you have these flimsy little cross members, one at either end. And you take both ends of this, H-style frame and you try and twist them, it'll twist.
Yeah.
Because your cross members / rungs are too spread apart and they're too thin. It's not the rails that
it's the cross pieces and not having enough of them, which
yes,
our OBS
and are
Fords
not stiff enough.
Don't have a lot of cross pieces.
And the ones that we do have,
they're not much to brag about.
Not much to brag about. So what I would be looking at first and primarily would be the cross members before I was looking at the frame rails.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll let John do the science and see how it comes. If a truck splits apart, then you know he's wrong. If it stays together, it was right.
Okay. This next one's from Chris Ray. Hi, this is Chris, Flatbed Chris. I was wondering if you guys have ever experienced the spare tire holder coming undone by itself. No, I haven't.
I haven't, Chris. That's a new one.
I myself had it happen myself driving down a dirt road, not knowing, then back up over it. It was still attached on one side of the crossbar and the spare was completely stuck. I had to ratchet strap it back into place. I thought it was possible, a one-off thing, but the same thing happened to my friend about a year afterwards. Right after getting off the freeway, his came off and his spare tire went flying everywhere, or went flying somewhere to never be found. We noticed a little down the road when he was dragging his spare tire holder back behind his truck.
That would suck.
Also, I want to know if you guys had issues with the ABS system on these trucks turning on at random times, stopping or losing braking power. I've had 3 people this has happened to and want to know if you have any stories or knowledge of this. So, spare tire stuff. Personally, none of my trucks have a spare tire in the factory spare tire spot.
Got it.
Because they won't fit a worthy spare.
Sure.
We're working on that, though.
I know you're doing the science. Spare tire, that's impressive because once that spare tire, I know for a fact I've had 2 trucks that have OG spares still on them from the factory, not messed with. When they're locked down, right, they don't come out of there. In fact, It's a bad day. Like, you almost want to get if I got a flat, I'm more pissed I have to get underneath that spare tire holder.
And have to pull it out.
It sucks ass.
Because they're normally like all bound up and corroded.
Oh, they suck. And it's like a shitty design from Ford. But for them to come unlatched on their own, I feel like that's either it was loose or something broke with the retaining of it. I find that hard to believe that it just came undone. I mean, not to say it couldn't. Maybe it's rusty in your area. I don't know, Chris. I'm not sure where you're at. Maybe maybe the retainer rusted apart. But when they're locked in there, they do not want to move.
This is the first I've ever heard of this.
Yeah, I've never heard that one unless maybe there's some shenanigans going on.
I did have a friend that put a 38-gallon Bronco tank in his truck.
Okay.
And apparently didn't secure the straps properly and had one fall off.
The tank?
The tank straps?
The whole tank fell out.
No, but it started to, and so he ratchet strapped it back into place.
Well, that's it. Okay.
But that was not a spare tire.
I'm just a little blown away. I've never heard that before. Not that, like I've said before, I'm no expert by any means. So I don't know. Was there missing parts and pieces? Was, like I said, did something rust apart? Was it loose? Because if you remember that you have this bar, your spare tire goes onto it, uses this stupid plastic centerpiece that locks it all together. Then you put that on one hanging down nubby thing, whichever you want to call it. It's like this weird stud that's flared out and has a square inverted shank head on it. Then the other end is this threaded up rod with an eyelet on it.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to use your tire tool to screw it up there. But once you screw that guy up in there and it lips over, has
it's like a slot with a retainer.
Right. Once that thing's locked in there and it's tight, there's no movement out of it. So I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'd have to hop in a DeLorean and go back in time and see pre-tire falling off.
Yeah.
Is it loose or anything?
Yeah.
So the other thing, the ABS thing. So our trucks have a simple RABS valve system.
What's a RABS valve?
Rear anti-lock brake.
Oh.
Unless you have a Bronco Eddie Bauer, which were 4-wheel ABS.
Are they really?
Yeah, the Eddie Bauers were 4-wheel ABS.
So your Bronco's 4-wheel ABS?
We got rid of that.
Okay.
We deleted all that.
Okay.
Had a pump and everything, kind of like a modern day ABS system.
Really? I did not know that but only Eddie Bauer editions.
I'm pretty sure it's only Eddie Bauers that I've seen. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a Bronco expert. Maybe Greg from Desolate would know, but pretty sure it's only Eddie Bauers when I look at wiring diagrams.
Okay.
Lightning did not. I can't remember if Lightning. Anyway, long story short, our trucks have never had 4-wheel ABS. So your Broncos had a wheel speed sensor in the fronts and a tone ring in your rear differential.
Right.
Very simple systems, very crude.
Yeah.
Not like modern day shit. Our trucks, though, are like the simplest, derpiest RABs or rear analog brake system ever. It uses a valve on the frame rail. It then, how rear analog brake works is it sees slippage in the rear, and then it's like allows a bypass so you don't lock up the brakes, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it causing those scenarios though.
I haven't either.
No, that's a new one.
Yeah.
So
both, you got some real unique ones, Chris.
Right. So also like random times stopping or losing braking power. I know 3 people have happened to. I do know we did have RABS valves in the past that would cause some weird problems like soft pedal, not firm. It was very rare though. But this one says there's trucks turning on at random times, stopping, like it's like actuating the brakes. That seems weird to me. That when like so the brakes are being actuated, I don't think it can do that.
No, maybe it turns on at random times while stopping
and losing braking power, maybe. So what you can do,
braking power could be the soft pedal, like you're talking about,
right? And what you could do, Chris, is easy that we used to do back in the day to diagnose this, is we pull the RABS valve off for diagnostic reasons, and then you just tie the lines together, which was easy to do,
right?
And you can go down to your local Napa or wherever and go and just get the fitting size, and you just buy a union, tie them together, eliminate that guy, and go drive it. See if it does that. If it does that, then you need a new RABS valve.
And you gotta bleed the system.
Yeah, bleed it afterwards. Yes, you need to bleed it. Thank you, John. Yeah, I need to bleed it before you go drive it. But yeah, I would definitely like get that thing out of there and tie the line together. See what it does. If it doesn't do it anymore, then you need a new RABS valve.
So here's a question for you. So if it works better with it like taken apart or like just tied together and bypassed, is there any harm in just deleting the RABS valve and just having?
If the lawyers are listening, yeah, there's a lot of things. Yeah, I would not drive it that way. But if the lawyers aren't listening, I wouldn't put that RABS valve back in.
You won't get any lights or anything funky.
You might get an ABS light on your, but
if you just pull that bulb out of your cluster, then it doesn't light up anymore.
Correct. I'm just trying to think if your brake light stays on. So you have a brake light and an ABS light on.
Right.
Your brake light, though, is for your e-brake and your fluid level sensor.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so your ABS light, yes, just pull that fucking bulb out of there.
Because it's not like...
It's not a complex system.
It's not a modern ABS system.
No, it's derpy as all hell. I think it's worthless.
Okay.
So we've thought about building a block to eliminate those. But I worry about the liability.
That's a big lot. Yeah. That'd be an off-road use only, just like all of my products.
I guess you could do that. Yeah. Anyway, coming soon to an OBS near you.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on.
Cody Martinez.
Fucking ridiculous, the price of eggs.
Yeah, his comment is just the price of eggs.
Well, it depends what kind of eggs you're getting.
I can't remember. Well, the last time I bought eggs was when I worked at the fire station.
You don't buy eggs now?
Not personally.
Oh, okay.
They show up in my refrigerator.
Oh, professionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird. How does that happen? Do you have chickens here?
No, we got a wife.
Oh, interesting. So I don't. Hey, Cody, I don't know about the price of eggs in Texas, but here in the Pacific Northwest, they are getting expensive.
And that's the other thing. We don't actually buy eggs. We have so many friends with chickens.
Well, John does.
I don't have a lot of hippie friends.
Oh, you do? Okay. I don't have a lot of hippie friends with eggs, so
chickens.
Or chickens.
Chickens produce eggs.
Oh, thanks. What came first?
I don't know.
So Will has chickens, but yeah, I don't know.
Will probably sells his eggs. For large amounts of money. He's got to have the right margins.
For a fucking margin. For a fucking margin is what he's doing.
Which is why you hired him.
Anyway, the price of eggs. I love it. Cody Martinez, I hope to see you in August, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a good time.
Cody's great.
Good time.
Speaking of,
what? Go ahead. Don't be a pussy.
No, it's not. We were talking about boats off the podcast because
Cody's got a spicy boat.
For anybody that's listening knows that Devin and I both really like boats.
Like a lot of shiny objects.
And Cody's always had a good boat. And then I don't know if you saw, but Colt Hadley just got a Scarab.
He did? I didn't know he got it. I thought it was Cody's.
Yeah. I keep meaning to hit him up and ask him about it because it looks so sweet. It's twin engine, like full blown.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Colts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
is it period correct for the OBS world?
It is. And Cody's is also period correct. I don't remember what brand Cody has, but he's got a pretty sweet boat that he tows with calls it the slut bus.
The slut bus.
And it just looks so good. It's so
2 characters.
So cool.
2 characters right there.
Okay, moving on. This is from Ryan Kenyon. Maybe share some of the stories you've heard from others at the truck show about the truck they have.
I've heard some great conversations with people about trucks they have at the truck show.
Same.
Everything from like, this was my dad's, to I found this behind a barn or in a barn.
Yeah.
Or to, there was a guy there that had 1 million miles on an OBS. He owned a trucking company.
Yes. The black one.
Yes. And he was there only for a short time. He's an older guy.
Just as a quick side note, if you want to hear some of the stories of people in their trucks from the truck show, we actually have like an hour plus long video from the last show.
Can we get Jack to do that again this year?
Oh yeah, well he's just gonna do it again for sure.
I'll pay him for that.
Yeah. It was a great video,
great.
and you get to see, like, you get to hear all these stories. It's on the Carrot Customs YouTube channel. I'm not trying to promote my own shit. I'm literally just like,
I forgot about that video.
And the guy with the 1 million mile OBS is in there that's had like a valve job done once or twice or something. And like, he would pull over when his mileage got like due for an oil change. He said he's changed his oil on the side of the freeway.
Are you fucking serious? No way.
That's what he
said.
And
That's
you guys
commitment.
can watch the video and see for yourself. But I
why don't you just change your oil before you get there? Like, you always do it a little bit earlier than later.
Yeah.
I would think like it's hot. You could be in a bad location.
I am not. I usually keep my oil change intervals on the lower side so that if life happens and it's like, oh, I'm like 500 or 1,000 miles overdue, then I'm probably still doing it well within spec.
Sure. But to pull over like at the location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that's next
next level.
Hey, it's 28 degrees out, snowing sideways. Sorry, little wife, we got to pull over and shut this bitch down. I got to change the oil real quick.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine.
He was like an older guy, right?
Oh yeah.
I remember being like,
very detail oriented.
Yes, and he was a little bit like standoffish
Mm-hmm.
because he was like, yeah, I'm here for the truck show, but I'm only gonna be here for a little bit because then I gotta get my Peterbilt fired up. Cause I'm gonna be here for next weekend's semi truck show.
Oh really? I didn't know he had a truck for the semi show.
Yeah, because like I said, he had a trucking company, and he goes, yeah, I bought this when I started my trucking company, and this is like the first truck I bought, and he's like, yeah, I got a 379 or something like that. Or it might have been older vintage Peterbilt that he brings to the semi truck show the weekend after ours. By the way, our truck show's coming up in August, 15th and 16th.
Plug.
That's the plug for. But if you ever get a chance, if you're like not a native of this area and you don't know about the Brooks Powerland Heritage Park, so our show is the 15th and 16th. The weekend after that is the semi truck show. Now I've talked about this on the podcast. Kenny and I absolutely lose our shit for the semi truck show. We go every year.
I'm going this year.
It's so rad. My dad has been taking my brother and I since we were little.
Oh, it's
the steam up's even cooler. If you go, I can't remember when the steam up is. That's like a month before our show. That's at the same location. That's when they bring in all the old steam equipment that's out there, fire it up, make it work.
Yeah.
But the semi truck show is off the rails. So then you do the semi truck show in the morning, and then you hop in your truck and you drive to McMinnville. And McMinnville on the same day in the evening does a cruise in that is off the hook, where they shut the whole downtown McMinnville down, and all the bars are open. They got bands playing on the roof, and you do a cruise, and this massive figure 8 cruise through the whole downtown area. You see everything. I've said this before. You see like Lamborghinis, Ferraris. You see big lifted square body Chevys. You see like a bunch of rock crawler buggies. You got there's like a bunch of classic Broncos that show up. There's a Volkswagen van club that shows up.
I love how you point at me with Volkswagen vans. The way you say it is funny. Volkswagen.
Did I say it wrong?
I don't know.
It could be my cold.
Yeah,
it could be that. Anyway, it's a great time. But I'm telling you right now, our show's awesome. Semi truck show is fucking next level.
Really?
Yes. And the McMinnville cruise it's awesome. It's a good time. That day. So Kenny and I try to do both. We try to get there in the morning, see the semi truck show. and you get to see like there's a lot of cool old log trucks and like really old stuff. And then you got all the large car shit out in the back, like your modern like 379 stuff is like in the weeds, big, all that cool stuff. But it's kind of like our truck show where you get to see every kind of walk of life.
Have you seen Cab Over Kev there?
I never have, but I might have missed him. I don't know if I've ever seen his truck there.
I'll have to ask. I need to message him.
Yeah, ask him if he's going to go this year. I'd be cool to see that truck at Cab Over. That thing's cool.
Trucks. He is like the most classic trucker.
Yep. Kenny's seen him a couple times going down I-5 through Oregon.
I saw him coming back from the truck show once driving the fire truck.
Really?
Yeah. And
what's his Instagram page for people?
Cab Over Kev. KEV.
It's a cool looking truck. Very iconic looking.
Texas based. Well, I think he's originally from Compton.
Okay.
And then moved to Texas, and he's got a few cab overs.
Oh, not just okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got more than one. And his dad was a trucker, and he's a trucker, and like his main truck, I think it's still his main truck, has what in the trucker world I think is known as a buzzin' dozen.
A buzzin' dozen,
which is a 12V71 turbo V12 Detroit.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah. With and some of the videos I've seen, it's got a 5+4 gearbox in it. So a 5-speed gearbox and a 4-speed Brownie.
Huh.
So and he'll do videos of him taking off from stoplights, and you watch him work 2 different sticks coming out.
Can you imagine that all day long? Would it just tire you out?
I think it'd be so cool.
It'd be cool for the first 8 hours, and then after that, you're like, I'm fucking done with this thing.
Well, once you get on the road and you're cruising, then you're probably only working one gearbox.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But that's taking off with like a load of rebar, and yeah, he's so cool.
Yeah, that's a cool Instagram page he has too. So anyway, check those things out. Like I said, our truck show's coming up in August, 15th to 16th. But after that is our semi-truck show. It's very cool to see. Both are awesome.
Okay, we're on to our next person, and it's our favorite subject from Eric with a K. IDI talk.
Love me some IDIs.
And then Kenny replied, "You may not like what you hear."
So Kenny monitors the Instagram page, so it's not us that you're getting responses from.
Yeah, if somebody says something inappropriate, it's definitely Kenny.
Yeah, the nicest guy that on this face of this earth.
So Eric replied, "Haha, my 7.3 NA IDI is at 200K, and I use starting fluid every cold start since the glow plugs don't work. She loves the limiter."
What's the question?
Well, I think he just wants us to talk about IDIs.
Can I talk to you about a Cummins swap?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you about
True.
Let's just talk about a Cummins swap. I know all the haters like, you can't mix those. That's terrible. Blah. We've said this before. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Fucking like John's in the middle of doing a Duramax swap. We don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. And I still like IDIs. In fact, I borrowed last year at this time. For some reason, I didn't have a running truck. And so I borrowed Grant's 7.3 IDI with an ATS turbo to run to the fertilizer place and pick up a fertilizer trailer and be able to fertilize the fields. And it ran like a top.
So
it was gutless.
Yeah, but it got you there.
It got me there, got the feed.
You may not get there the fastest.
And you may not start in the cold very well.
No, but you know what's funny is I do like the sound of an IDI straight pipe though.
Yeah, they got a unique sound.
Yeah, they do sound cool.
My favorite IDI right now on Instagram
Bullnose.
is the Wally 6.9 Bullnose.
They sound good when they're straight piped.
And they are a pretty dead reliable engine. For some reason, I feel like they go through glow plugs and like glow plug systems.
I'd rather do that than like, I don't know, injector driver module.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
I mean, like, they point the thing downhill if it's a manual and fucking bump start it and end of the world truck.
Yeah, they fairly are. And I mean, if you're
not going to get to the end of the world fast.
No. And the compression ratio is pretty low on them. So using starting fluid to get them fired off, like, it's not the best thing, but you'd have to be pretty mean to.
Well, he says she loves the limiter.
The limiter is it's actually called a governor.
Oh, well, tell you this.
Right?
When you blow it up, Eric, go ahead and just swap in a Cummins for it.
We got mounts for you.
There you go. See?
Product plug.
Yeah, engine mounts and AC mount.
Yes.
See? So you can have your AC working as well. Easy peasy.
Which it probably doesn't work if you own an IDI truck. You probably don't have AC functioning currently.
And that's an easy swap.
Is
That's
that
a very
the
simple.
IDI guys are going to come with pitchforks.
Give me your address, John. We'll be waiting.
Come and get me.
We don't really give a fuck. If you haven't figured that out by now, if you don't hate us, if you hate us for fucking coming swaps and all this shit, then you probably should not quit listening. We really don't care.
What would you take? A 7.3 IDI truck or a 460 truck?
I'll take a 460 truck.
Same.
100%. I love 460s.
Okay. What would you take an IDI truck over?
Apocalyptic world, like fucking end of the world shit.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Right?
the 460 is still all electronically controlled.
Yeah, if there's you're still gonna have some problems there. An IDI is like a 12 valve, really.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just a really underpowered 12 valve.
that's what's great about
with
12. I mean, there's
indirect injection.
That's what cracks me up. People like fucking shit on a 12 valve. It's like it's the same as an IDI, really. They're just all mechanical diesels. It's like a tractor.
It's a mechanical diesel. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a tractor. It's basically old tractor technology.
100%.
And to be fair, I think my tractor, I've got a 1968 Massey Ferguson 180.
Okay.
For anybody that's interested.
Super interested now.
Yeah, right? It's so
Let's talk
cool.
about tractors.
Let's talk about it. But it's got a Perkins 3.9 liter diesel in it.
Okay.
And I don't know, but the injectors look very IDI-like, which for anybody that's listening that doesn't know this, IDI stands for indirect injection. So it has pre-combustion chambers to like preheat everything. And I believe that's what my tractor has. And it does not have glow plugs or anything. And when it's cold and I use it to plow snow, it gets a nice shot of starting fluid in the air filter, and that helps fire it off. That thing runs like a champ. The oil, after 200 hours, still clean.
Really? It's clean? It's not black?
Not black at all.
So here's my experience with starting fluid. I own a 1985 Case 450B dozer.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what diesel engine it is. It's a 4-cylinder, non-turbo.
It's a diesel.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, there are no glow plugs in that as well. In fact, Case has a holder for a can of fucking starting fluid for cold mornings.
Yeah.
And it literally has a line going to the air filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you just give it a shot of fucking like starting fluid in the mornings.
And light her off.
That's how you cold start a 1984 Case 450 dozer.
Yeah. So I don't think you're really hurting it. I mean, banging it off the limiter technically shouldn't be hurting it either because the governor is set to where you aren't going to float valves.
So enjoy that IDI. I mean, like, have a good time with it.
Yeah. When you're done, hit us up for some motor mounts.
And a come and swap. There you go.
Moving on. This is Austin Rearick. Wait, hold on. Ooh, okay, this is a good one.
Okay.
Haven't heard a good bourbon selection in a while.
Angel's Envy Rye.
What do we have over here?
Well, you've got a whole, actually, that Teeling shit's really good. Teeling Irish whiskey.
Max got me that. Speaking of which, James wants to stop by in a little while and say hi.
Yeah, I texted Bam on the podcast. I didn't want to respond like a douchebag yet.
Oh, you're fine.
Max should stop by. Teeling whiskey. I like that shit, but I got on the Angel's Envy Rye shit. I can't get off of it.
Angel's Envy is still really good. I'm still stuck on what Tony got me, that Doc Swinson's.
Yeah, you're stuck on that shit?
He's gotten me 2 bottles of that. Like, it's been a few years.
Oh, wow.
And it's really good stuff.
You're more of a beer guy.
I am more of a beer guy. The only time I drink whiskey is like when you come over, or if other friends that like whiskey come over, then I'll pull that out. If I'm gonna drink a mixed drink or like a hard alcohol drink, on more of a regular basis, it would either be tequila or gin and tonic.
Okay, all right, I can get down with that. I'm a 100% whiskey guy. I don't drink much beer, although I love the trailer park beers.
Same.
I love them. But I'm a Modelo guy for beer. Modelos are great.
The problem is Modelos cost twice as much as these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, whiskey, though, I'm a 100% whiskey guy. That's all I drink, really. I'm telling you, Angel's Envy Rye, it is expensive shit, but it's the best stuff ever, dude. It's like chocolate. It's like syrup.
Would you like a sip of a rye?
No, I'm good.
No.
I got the beer here. Good.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, I hope that helps you, Austin.
So he had another one, but
I
I like that. We haven't had a good bourbon selection in a while. In fact, just while we're at it,
Oh, Bullet's good too. I'll drink that shit all day long.
Yeah, Bullet. I
better have
like.
some of that when you're done.
So easily swayed.
I love whiskey, man. I fucking love whiskey. I don't know what it is. It's my Irishness, right? It's the Irishness in me. They always said the Irish would have taken over the world if it wasn't for whiskey, right?
Yeah.
That's good shit. So berry drinks. Wobbles drinks always is drinking Bullet.
Yeah, Bullet Ryes are good.
It's good shit. What's the other question?
Any knowledge of swappability? I know the front clips can be swapped, but what about other things? I know I put 96 F-150 two-wheel drive front suspension under my 85 F-150 with no problems. What can be swapped?
Dude, they're like a Lego piece, man. Our OBS Fords can swappable like 24/7. The things that get goofy, that I know this for a fact, our 1980 bullnoses, 81, 82, get a little bit goofy.
Mm-hmm.
That gets a little bit goofy. I do know, here's one for you. Heater air boxes get a little goofy in the early years versus the later years.
What years did those start becoming like pretty similar?
I would say around when the Arrow Nose shit came out, they all got really all the same.
Arrow Nose stuff fit in Brick Nose?
Yes.
Okay.
Like we've,
so
like
you can
to
put
a point.
like a full R134A system from a 96 Power Stroke into an 89 Brick Nose.
Behind the dash gets a little different. Obviously, two different dash worlds.
Right. But
and
like
steering columns
stuff.
steering columns can't be. Yeah, steering columns are super different. I would say what we've discovered, the front clips, all that shit is pretty plug and play. You may take a little bit of modifications here and there, but not bad. The best swap that I like seeing nowadays is when you take an Arrow Nose cab and you put a bullnose front clip on it and a bullnose bed. Yeah, that's a good setup.
Didn't Dirthead Dave do that?
I think he did. Yes, but his was a
was a brick nose,
and he swapped it over.
Nose.
Yep. And so the swappability is pretty easy. In fact, Oscar and I bought those two bull noses for product development.
Yep.
To see how much of our products from Arrow Nose goes over to bullnose trucks.
What have you found?
Sill plates are a little bit longer. The sill plate, like that area is a little bit longer for a sill plate.
Why?
Because where the plastic comes down, it's a little further out. But shit like that.
The door shape is the same. They're
door
the same
shape's
doors.
the same. Yeah, door shape's the same. The only thing we did notice is the inner door is a little bit different here and there. I believe with some simple modifications, you could take and put modern day power functions from a Arrow Nose into a bull nose. There's not much structure wise. There's not much difference.
Yeah, and we've found frame wise, like our suspension, you may have to, because all of it's been designed on an Arrow Nose, but we've had plenty of people install it on brick noses and bull noses. You may have to drill a couple extra holes, on a different frame, depending, but it's all the same dimensions wise.
Yeah, and the bed step, like we just came out with, is all compatible with
80 through 97.
Yep, they all have
the same holes.
Yeah,
nice.
So like Ford made one vehicle, and they're like, okay, let's just modify the outside structure. The only thing I do like is that I like the Arrow Nose behind the dash better.
Yeah,
and the Arrow Nose stuff is. Everyone gives me a hard time for not liking brick noses. I like brick noses. I really like bull noses. But the one thing Arrow Nose trucks have, it was the best combination of old school dent side, bump side to pre-Super Duty shit. They have a central junction box under the hood, where your bull nose and your brick noses do not.
Oh, they don't? No. I didn't know that.
There's no central junction box under the hood for a brick nose. That's why Colin Naylor's truck took so long. We had the wiring for that big 520 stroker motor was a pain in the ass because we had to run everything inside the cab. Where if you Arrow Nose stuff's a little bit simpler. It's cleaner on the Arrow Nose side from what we discovered.
Interesting.
Yeah. I would say that's the only downfall. And I mean, I don't hate it, but dealing with a brick nose and a bull nose steering columns, rebuilding them,
right,
it sucks ass compared to an Arrow Nose. Arrow Nose steering columns are way easier to deal with. Everything from ignition switch to upper and lower tilt bearings, way simpler, way cleaner. In fact, it's like 2 clicks off from early Super Duty steering columns.
Okay.
So
they're very similar to
very
early?
Similar, yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, but that's my 2 takes on that swappability. I hope that answers both of Austin's questions.
Very good.
Next
What
up.
about? Do you know? Sorry,
John's being distracted.
no,
Everyone.
I am. Somebody's neighbor's asking for something.
You just need to turn your phone off. Don't look at it. Just turn it upside down like this. Watch. You just go bloop, and the world disappears.
I also have to take this off.
Yeah, take that fucking watch off, bud.
But it keeps
Do you notice
track
I
of
don't-
when I'm exercising.
Do you
and
notice I
I'm
don't wear any
standing and
watches or any
sitting.
of that shit? So like you
I
can't
know.
like just.
But you wear a wedding ring,
Fuck yeah, I do.
like at work,
Yes.
working on stuff.
Yes.
Hmm.
100%.
I
I know my dad did not wear a wedding ring working on cars. In fact, I think the story was he got mad at my mom and he lost it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he never wore a wedding ring. Kenny does though. Kenny wears a wedding ring, work on heavy equipment, machinery, all that shit. I know it's a taboo. I know it's a real no-no for what we do for a living.
I didn't do it from fire department stuff because I had a guy almost lose his finger, cutting a car apart, and the hydraulic tool, like he lost his grip and it was opening up and it pinched on his wedding ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard that one before.
And like getting out of like a tall truck, having it catch on a grab
I've heard that
rail.
one. I've heard a guy lose his finger
Degloving
doing
his-
that, degloving your finger. I've heard that.
So I got used to not wearing one.
Yeah.
And I've had a welding arc once strike over to like an old mechanical watch that I would wear.
Okay.
And so ever since, I'm just a no, like date nights,
Sure.
going out, vacation. If
Yeah.
I'm not like, even sometimes I'll forget and I'll wear it, but I really,
Yeah, I see that. Trust me.
I have a tattoo on my finger though of her initials.
That's legit. There you go.
Does that count?
Sure. I'm not faulty. I don't know. I don't know. Kenny and I are a little bit goofy in that world.
You're already missing one finger, so if you lose another, who cares?
Fuck it. You know what? I'm due.
You're
What else we got?
Oh, Enrique.
Enrique? He swindled me for so much money. That guy.
You and me both.
Right?
It's
He's
okay.
a great human.
He's going to love hearing that.
He's a good guy.
300,000 mile crew cab trucks listed for $20K that need $10K worth of work.
Welcome to the struggle, bud.
Yeah. Because a 300,000 mile crew cab truck could be a 500,000 mile crew cab truck.
But at what point do we quit counting miles and just look how clean this truck is?
I think we're really getting there.
Because if you consider the old classic Bronco or dent side or bump side market, you don't really fucking look at miles.
No, you don't even know.
No, there's no idea.
Well, okay, so Brian Castleman's truck, 500
over
plus
500K.
1,000 miles.
Yes.
So does that make his truck worth like $3,000?
I don't know. When he had a hailstorm come through and fuck it up, the insurance paid out like it was a low mile truck.
Because you couldn't. I bet you that truck has more than 10 grand worth of powder coating. I'm not
alone just as time.
No. Yeah. And that truck is nearly flawless.
I think there's a
miles.
point where I think we're at that point that these trucks are almost 30 years plus, depending on bullnose or brick nose. Excuse me. I think we're getting that point where mileage is getting kind of like on some trucks not giving a shit.
Yeah, I think it all depends on like. I have no idea how many miles are on the truck that we're doing the Duramax swap on, but it has brand new axles, brand new suspension. Every piece of that truck has been rebuilt.
I don't think we're there yet, but we're getting there. Where mileage, I like to think we're there, but I don't think we are, because you still have trucks that are people are listing them with 160K and they're worth more money, right? Versus trucks with 300K. But
that's the same if you've got a 1956 Corvette that has 24,000 original miles on it. That is worth more than the Resto Mod Corvette that has unknown miles, but everything is brand new.
You're right.
Right?
Well, that's a different market, though.
But that's kind of where we're getting. How many miles does the Cowboy truck have?
Ooh, 220?
What has 220,000 miles on it?
I don't know.
The frame?
Yeah.
The cab?
The cab, the sheet metal.
The paint?
No.
No. The bed? No. Axles?
No.
Engine?
No.
Transmission?
No.
Transfer case?
No.
Steering column?
No.
It's like.
So, I mean, but.
Because that chunk of steel has rolled down the road that far.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
And the electronic dash is recording it, doesn't necessarily mean that the truck is a 200-something thousand mile truck.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's in the eye of the beholder or the person buying it.
Yeah, I think there comes a point where like a low miles, like sub 100K truck that's all original, that's still really valuable.
Yes.
A 300,000 plus mile truck that's still all original and shows that it has 300 plus thousand miles, it is not worth 20K plus. But then
I
there's
don't
the
know,
gray
dude.
area.
It's everyone like the fucking people that come out of the woodwork when something's priced really expensive and it's really nice. Then you have the people that like, it's a goofy world. I can't answer that question. I really can't.
Basically, it's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay.
That's what I always say. If someone's willing to pay that much money for it and it sells for that much money, good for the seller, good for the buyer.
Yeah.
But for the people that come out of the woodwork and bash people for trying to sell something that's like they think is inflated, well, then don't buy it.
And if it sells, then you were wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't listed too high.
I'm a classic guy that sells shit too low, so I don't know. It's one of those things where I think, like you said, it's all in what the person wants to buy it for.
I'm a big free market guy.
Yeah, 100%.
So if I were to, list something that I have for $1 million because I just thought it was worth that much money.
Sure.
If it sells for that much money, then apparently that's what it was worth.
But the people that come out,
if
it never sells, then you might want to lower your price.
And the most I can get is $10 for it,
Right.
then obviously it's only worth $10. It's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay.
Did you see that fucking CR500? It was the last year of the CR500 dirt bike.
Okay.
Still in a crate.
Oh, I did.
It sold for $76,000.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, 76.
What?
Kenny told me this. It was like a 95, 96.
That's not worth that much. That's stupid. It's not worth that much.
I would not pay that much for a fucking CR500. It's still in the crate. I would not do it. Doesn't mean I need to go on social media and fucking blast these people for wanting that much for it.
Because somebody that doesn't care at all
right
what you would pay for it
Correct.
Is like, I want a CR500.
And you know who bought it? A guy that has a fucking motorcycle collection.
No kidding.
Yep.
Duh.
Right?
Yeah.
So like all the fucking pores that are like commenting how much this fucking like how inflated the price was. Guess what happened? It fucking sold for $76K.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys for fucking all your negativity.
You're not going to buy a brand new CR500 from 1986 that's just like still in the factory box.
95, I believe.
95?
Yeah. Last year. Yeah,
okay.
95, which is a cool year. I think that was one of the coolest years of the CR500. But anyway, I just thought like Kenny told me, I'm like, he's like, can you believe that? I said, I told him like, there's no fucking way I wouldn't pay $6,000 for that bike.
But it's all relative.
Correct. It's all what you want. It's all like what you want to spend. It's like
there are things I wouldn't have spent nearly as much money on as I would now as, back when I was like 20 years old.
Sure, things change.
Like, what? Really?
Or like maybe you like get a better career or you like you're established and you fucking have money in the bank and you don't give a fuck. I mean, I think it's funny. My point is like for people to go on and bash other people for selling shit like this, I think that's the part that gets a little bit cunty for me is like having to see that shit or like that world, but like.
Because we live in a world where your opinion can be published anywhere.
And if that person were to go up and tell someone else their comments or their what they think, it would never happen. They get punched in the face.
They're never going to have an opportunity to talk to the guy that can afford a $76,000 CR500.
Correct. So like for like Enrique saying a 300,000 mile crew cab for $20K that needs 10K. I mean, like some people look at it as like, hey, I'm going to do that and spend $10K on going through it, either buy parts from Skies, you, me, or whatever, and have a good time with it. It makes me put a smile on their face.
I'm like, if you want to list it for a bunch of money, that's fine. If it sells, good on you. If it doesn't sell and then you get mad about it, okay, now there's a problem.
Right.
You need to realize that like
maybe it's not worth that much.
Maybe it's not worth. It's only worth what somebody is willing to pay.
Exactly.
Period.
Trust me, I just bought 2 bullnoses from Enrique. I had no problem spending the money on that.
Yeah. And did those have over 300,000 miles?
Who knows, dude? One, we had to cut the steering column in 2 so I could actually roll it onto the flatbed.
Wow.
Yeah, because Enrique, I get there. Thank you, Enrique, for this. I get there, pick up the crew cab bullnose and the single cab short bed bullnose. Yep. And Enrique's like, oh, by the way, I don't have a key for the column. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And it's parked next to his house. And he, like, I had like not squeeze the gooseneck in there, but it was tight. And I'm like, he's like, oh, You could probably just jackknife the gooseneck in here to get this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's gonna be raining here in 2 minutes. Like, I really don't want to fucking like, and like it's tight. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. Give me your Sawzall. I'm gonna cut that steering column in 2, and just like fucking, we're just gonna roll this thing on there. I didn't even give a shit.
And just like push the wheels.
Yeah,
manually.
and then it had kind of backfired on me because it had those fucking what kind of wheels are those? Those fucking ones used for body shop shit.
I don't know what they're called, but like the fancy hot rod shops have them.
Yes, and it had those wheels on
those
it.
rollers.
And it was in gravel. So guess what? It did not want to roll.
No kidding.
Yes, but I had Kenny with me, so it's always a good time. When you have Kenny with you, it'll all be fine.
Everything's fine when Kenny's around.
Yep. So yeah. So anyway,
Okay. Moving on. Oh, this is from Nasty73.
You know what? That is an individual and a half, right there.
Dylan Sink.
Dylan is a character. The worst modification you can do at an OBS.
Do 2.
Hood stack.
All right. Apparently you got to explain that.
I don't know if I should.
Well, it brought a lot of attention.
Okay. Here's the deal. Like, everyone mods out their trucks here and there and does all this shit. Good for you. Good for you all day long. I'm not judging you. Fucking live your own life. I don't care. I'm not going to comment everything. But the hood stack world is one world I can't get behind. Mainly because...
What's it make you think of?
So I had this... We had a guy that worked for us for a hot minute, and he had a hood stack. And he was always telling us how cool hood stacks were. And the top of his truck was always sooty. The windshield was always sooted up. Top of the cab was always sooted up because of his hood stack. And I'm always like, well, that kind of sucks, right? Like, you can't see out your windshield because the fucking thing's all sooty. Top of the cab's all sooty, so you're always cleaning it. And it came to me what a hood stack is.
It came to you.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a fucking good one. I'm like, I told kids that, you know what a hood stack is? It's like jerking off and shooting it on your face. That's what a fucking hood stack is, people. That's the equivalent of what a hood stack is. You're blowing your shit all over the cab of your truck.
Yep.
Right?
Right in the face.
Right in the face. You're getting it. You're shooting yourself in the face, a full facial. So there you go. It's a non-PC thing. I hope you guys like this explanation. So Kenny and I and John always chuckle when we see a hood stack.
That's why when you brought it up last episode, I'm like, no, we're trying to keep this like
PC.
And then the amount of people that comment, they're like,
I
want to know what Devin's definition is. I'm like, gosh, dang it. Why are you guys encouraging this?
You know, so John doesn't cuss. I do.
I'm
do
a little
sometimes.
Bit frosty.
I'm a little frosty. But I'll tell you this right now. A hood stack is basically like jerking off and blowing it on your own face. So, like, that's just my take on it. I'm not an expert. Take it what it is.
I could, yeah.
We'll probably get banned for that one.
Whatever.
Moving on.
Worst modification you can do to an OBS. Chevy mirrors?
Oh, fucking those guys that put Chevy mirrors on an OBS Ford should be shot. And the guys that put a Cummins in a Ford,
oof,
they should be in a concentration camp.
Yeah, what happens when you mix like GM parts? Well, oh yeah, Chevy mirrors, duh.
With a Cummins in a Ford, pull them on like drag them behind a truck till they die.
Yeah. Worst modification. I think you're right. Hood stack.
Yeah, it's just fucking lame. Unless, okay, Dylan has a truck. Okay, I'm going to talk about Dylan. Dylan has Fred. Smoky burnouts.
Okay. Yeah.
Smoky burnouts. It's for drag strip shit only. Hood stack 100%. Right? That's where it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a daily driver, like, hey, this is the only truck I have, or this is like, I can't get behind that. But I'm also fucking old. I'm probably set in my ways.
You're not even 50.
I'm closing on it next month, but I'm getting close.
Next month is 50?
No, I think I'll be 49.
Oh, okay. Well,
getting
you're close.
Does that make me old?
No.
Oh, perfect.
No, you're not old.
So, Dylan, worst modification? I'm not a fan of hood stacks. You are. You do use one for a purpose.
Yeah, but
beater.
He's not cutting a hood stack into his white,
That's true. That is dually.
His dually with the Western hauler bed. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
I want that bed so bad.
So, other than that, what would be another worst modification other than hood stack?
Metal door handles.
You mean not changing your hinges out or getting your door aligned properly?
That thing?
Or doing any of the maintenance to make your door shut and open properly?
Yeah. Not a big fan. I mean, a bed stack. Like cutting a hole in the factory.
I'd rather have a bed stack than a hood stack.
Yeah, I would. I'm with you there. Other worse modifications. It's definitely not putting a Cummins in it. Like, that's one of the best modifications, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan, you're just being ignorant.
So suck nuts.
He hates Cummins and Fords.
I know.
And I always send him shit all the time. He gets all spicy on me.
Yeah.
I would also say that I've seen people.
An old picture from episode 29.
He is a character, dude. He is so funny.
He commented on our most recent excursion, or not excursion, but 99 to 04 suspension.
What'd he say?
And we're talking about like what all it comes with. And at the end, I'm like, comes with everything except the tools. And he comments, he's like, well, I need tools to install this. And I said, well, that's an excellent question. It all depends on how good your wizardry skills are. He's like, sounds like I need tools.
He's a character. You know the worst mod I've seen recently? Is that people doing the 6.7 dash swaps into OBS.
Yeah,
I can't get behind it.
I haven't seen one in person. Okay, so
true. That's just seen videos. You're right.
I can't knock it, but my automatic inclination is to really hate it and wonder how the fit. Because I don't feel like the fit and finish can be so nice that it feels like you're in a new truck.
I need to see, like, do the door panels line up? How does a door panel from an OBS?
Does anything rattle? What happens when you go down a washboard road? Does that whole dash setup like just sit flawless? And
I have so many questions. I have so many questions on it. Like, I like shit looking like where it needs to be. How does when you close the doors and you have like our OBS door panels have like this flowy stuff and it goes into a 6.7 dash? They're totally different looking. So how's that work?
Don't they change the door panels too though?
How do you make a door panel from a 6.7 match a fucking...
There's no way because they have that dip.
And they're bigger. They're a bigger door.
They're way bigger.
I have a lot of questions on that one.
I do too. I don't know. I mean, I think hood stack is number one. It's the worst modification.
There's people on here who have hood stacks like, fuck you guys, I'm never listening to you again.
They're like, I'll jerk off on my face anytime I want to.
I like eating my own loads.
I guess we're just going there.
Yeah, fuck it.
No
one listens to this anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on. Thanks, Dylan. Your questions are always insightful.
Yeah. Squatted, fully, like intentionally squatted, that's bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a lot of bad modifications, but I'm having a hard time. Thing
Tanner
is...
sent me one.
Oh.
Tanner sent me one where a company installed a guy's shackle reversal. They did it backwards. They cut the front of the frame horn off. It was absolutely fucked up. And I'd love to elaborate, but I'm not going to. He just sent me pictures. And that was the worst modification I've ever seen. Ruined a guy's truck.
Wow.
Had someone do it. Some company do it. They didn't even look at the instructions.
Believe it or not, I deal with more customer service issues from shops that install specifically our steering linkage than from the average Joe who does it at home by themselves.
Is that because they know everything and they just go send it without looking at the instructions?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the ego comes into play and they're not like, oh, I should just like read these instructions and just make sure I'm doing it right. They're like, I'm a fucking expert. I know how to install everything without instructions.
You gotta remember, us mechanics are like special. Like we're next level to space. Like,
oh yeah,
we're like fucking like
Katy Elon's here and
Katy
then
Perry.
You're Katy Perry.
Fucking mechanic.
Okay.
We're like somewhere in between of Katy Perry and Elon Musk.
I love how you brought that into it.
Yeah. Fuck that bitch.
10 minutes in space. And she's kissing the ground. Didn't even quite make it to space. Just barely into orbit.
Is society so bad that bitch is like fucking on the front cover? Like, oh my God. All right, we've got to move on. Dylan, give us some better questions next time, Dylan. I want something better. Like some real good shit.
Do better.
Yeah, do better. Do better.
Oh, 16.5 tires. This is coming from Jesus Gomez Jr., unless you go by Jesus Gomez Jr.
I think that guy's got a... Let me see here.
It's got to be Jesus. 16.5 tires. That's an excellent question. And you're asking two people that love weld wheels. And that was a big thing, back in the 90s. And
I'm a weld geek, 100%. Kenny and I both, but 16.5s, I don't know on that one.
You know what's funny is this was a while ago, but my skid steer is on 16.5s.
Can we put skid steer tires on 16.5 wheels?
That's what I was wondering. I think they would ride terribly.
Oh, shocker. Well,
But
I
yeah,
know
there
Intercoal.
it is. It's your loader tire.
Let's put that on. I know Intercoal. Can't even say that right.
Interco.
Thank you. Too much fucking whiskey at this point and beer. Intercoal makes a tire. Go right there. There you go.
The Interco tires.
There you go. 16.5. Let's see what's out there.
What is Giga tire?
I don't know. It sounds cool though. Tires to the left there, John.
Yeah, I'm just reading what they said there.
We're looking at Interco tires. Oh,
super fancy.
those are okay. A little spicy.
First number.
Let's go this. So we're going down the.
We're just gonna choose second number. Nope, that's width. We're gonna choose third number.
16.5.
16.5. They have 68 tire options. Okay?
Whoa.
Interco tires. Intercotire.com. INTERCO tire. They have bias boggers, bias plies, and radials.
They have a radial in an IROC.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Holy smokes. So yeah, Super Swamper.
Dude, look at that tire. It's like a BFG all-terrain almost.
This one, the Vortrac?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Well, shoot.
Dude, that tire actually looks not too bad.
Yeah, it looks pretty dang good. So I always look, tire-wise, I drive my stuff a little bit more than Devin does.
Yeah, I just look at my stuff.
Yeah. And so
Thornbird. That's the ugliest tire ever. Is a Thornbird tire.
I don't
think it even did anything.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Buddies might have that on their Toyotas all the time.
I didn't like the Nitto mud grapplers. Those are my least favorite tires.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You like them?
I'm not gonna say yes or no to that. Let's just go.
Oh
we're talking about this other stuff. Come on, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, listen. You like Tesla Cybertrucks, so don't put me in that category. Let's look at that tire retail. Let's do details. Let's just see what it costs.
Vortrac?
Yeah, let's just see it.
Okay.
Because there's a ton of Weld 16.5 wheels out there right now for sale.
No kidding.
There are, and they look good.
And they're hard. Like anytime I see one of those, I'm like, nope, won't buy it because I can't get a regular tire for it.
But that tire's not terrible.
No, it doesn't look bad at all.
It's a radial, right?
Decent. Yeah, it's radial all-terrain, which is pretty sweet.
You just can't air it down very low.
Okay, so rim diameter 16.5.
Okay.
Offered in a 33 and a 35, so it can't go into Devon range, but that's okay.
Wear a size 9.5 shoe.
What is there? Oh, tire tread width. So it's a 35. No, it's 35 1250.
Okay.
Or 33 1250, and max rim width. PSI. Does it give a load rating? Max load 3640 per tire. That's got to be load range E.
That's not bad. I mean, it's not terrible. What's the? I was gonna say
DOT approved.
I was looking at. I mean, so that's not bad if you got a set of 16.5s. Maybe it's just an OBS you drive, on the weekend or something like that. That's a tire for your if you're into the spicy weld world.
Yeah, I wonder how much these cost.
I don't know.
Let's just give this the old Google.
Vortrac LT. Ooh,
there.
Oh. Okay, we see why you don't see this tire very often.
Okay.
That's a spicy number for a 35-inch tire.
No, that's for a 33.
Oh,
my
shit.
Dude. Oh, that's 17.
Oh, well, fuck.
But it's set. They're about $401
for a 17-inch, 33-inch tire.
Yeah.
That's a low rated E on that one.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay. But that's not the 16.5.
To the Google again. In a 16.5.
16.5. Ooh.
Doesn't come down in price. It goes up in price.
No, yeah. Imagine that.
Holy shit. A 33 and a 16.5. That's a tire I have on that fucking crew cab short bed I bought.
No way.
Yes.
So you have these tires. No wonder you like the looks of them.
I do. I just realized it because the sidewall, I didn't like the sidewall. Now I look at this, I'm like, dude, the sidewall doesn't look that good.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Shit. All right.
$453 a tire. But don't worry, guys. That is on sale.
Holy
from
shit.
$499 a tire. So you're looking at, if you just want tires for a set of 4, don't worry about a spare. you're looking at $1,000 for just the tires plus mount and balance.
On a 33, not a 35.
On a 33.
Wow. A great reason why not to have 16.5s.
Which is a bummer because there are
Yes.
so many cool 16.5 welds.
I've got a set of 16.5s on that truck I'm going to get rid of. If anyone's interested.
Are they Spermy boys?
No, what are they? Shit. Now
I thought they were.
I don't think they're Spermy boys.
They're not super singles.
No, if they were super singles, I'd make them into hose reels. Where the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
Where are those?
I'd have to buy one from you for my shop hose reel.
Fuck, they are Spermy boys.
I knew it.
Damn it.
I told you.
Damn it. That's the tire, though. It's got BFG all-terrains in the front.
Sell them to Kenny super cheap.
That's them. That's the tire.
Yeah, that's it.
Damn it. No. They was looking for 16.5 wheels.
I'm sure everybody heard that phone slap on the table.
Fuck. It sucks that 16.5, those tires cost that much.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the
it
guy
makes sense though. It's supply and demand.
Yeah, that's why that guy only put 2 on.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh, that sucks.
$1,000 for front tires.
Oh.
Unless you are married to your wheels, like, dude,
right.
Get some 17s or 18s.
Well, that's what. You want to sell your 17s you have out there on that truck?
No.
Yeah, exactly. See, no one's selling the Lord's pattern in a 17.
If I sold those wheels, it would be over $1,000 a wheel.
Yeah, the price of welds, like the weld game, has gone through the roof. Marketplace does not help that at all either.
No, it's fantastic, and we're not helping it right now.
No,
in fact, I need a set of 35s.
35 what?
Actually, no. Yeah, I do need a set 35 1250 R17s.
I know a guy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the weld market is
my my Scorpios
mounted.
I think the super singles are getting 35s, and the Scorpios are going to get those 37s, and they're going on that truck.
Oh, that'd be way cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weld market is off the rails. Vintage welds to me is like, yeah. Anyway.
It's kind of like buying, Tesla stock back in the day prior to Doge, really peaked.
Has this stock go down since Doge?
Oh,
I was going to say, I don't follow that shit, so.
Okay, so Jesus, 16.5 tires, dude. Look at Intercos.
You're going to pay for them, though. I hope you love your welds, though. I really do, because I love my welds. Would I spend that much for a tire? Probably.
I would only do that on a truck that was not like a regular driver.
Sure.
If it's just like, I want like ultimate OG classic 90s on 16.5s.
Well, they do boggers then at that point.
Because you can get 10 to 15 years out of those tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
His next question was best quality brand ball joints and steering linkage for Dana 50 TTBs.
Pick your poison, dude.
Here's a fun one. So I recently got contacted by a guy that is a Dana Spicer dealer, new and used. He found out I wanted TTB beams, and so we started talking. And somehow he's like, "So what ball joints do you use for the TTB 50s?" I'm like, "Well, I use a Spicer upper, and then the lower I like Napa Fleet." Whatever ball joint I can get for the lower, I'll do. He's like, I'll bet you that the 99 to 04 ball joints are the same OD and will fit in the knuckle if you can have somebody, because you're already cutting and turning the beams, you can have somebody machine you the lower ball joint receiver, essentially block for those beams, to where then you can run a much more updated, better ball joint on the bottom. So we started talking about that. I haven't done any testing yet, but it is something we've considered. But that is more on a specialized, situation. The biggest thing, it's so hard to get that lower ball joint for the TTB 50 because the upper is the same as the Dana 60.
Yeah.
That Dana Spicer ball joint is still in production and it works really well, but the lower is different than the Dana 60 and it's different than the Ford Taurus F250. And so whenever you go to the parts house, you're guaranteed the first 3 times to get the wrong lower ball joint.
Well, you don't ever want to say, what I've experienced is, we never say Ooh. We always say 95 era truck when we order parts.
Right.
Never a 97.
No.
Because the parts stores usually, especially in a 3/4 ton, they're going to send you the Ford Taurus F-250 parts.
Every time.
Which sucks.
Yes.
So you always say you say 95 F-250 3/4 ton because they're the same. And 99% of the time, you'll get the right parts.
For a 95.
Even 96.
See, 96, I will still end up with Ford Taurus lower ball joints.
But then do 95. Just say 95 across the board and you'll get the right parts.
Okay. What about 94?
94 is a split year for 7.3 trucks, remember? So I never say...
Yeah, it's a split year for the engine.
Correct, but we just use 95. 95 across the board.
Okay.
Usually is a safe bet.
Okay.
But look I hate to say this, but like the parts industry has gotten to be shit. It used to be, well, rotating electrical is a great example. Used to be Eklund was awesome for rotating electrical. There were certain things we'd hit, like you could buy from a Napa or a CarQuest back in the day before it became advanced.
Yep.
And an advanced sunk CarQuest just recently. I don't know if you guys know this. If you're on the West Coast, you've seen all the advanced close up. And it's probably going to happen on the East Coast as well. It only takes a matter of years.
What about, because Baxter's turned into CarQuest too?
CarQuest is, Advanced, took over CarQuest.
Okay.
If you're independent, then you'd have to pick a different brand. But what just recently happened was that Advanced closed everything up on the West Coast.
Okay.
You know that, right? Like they dissolved everything. All the shops are closed. All the stores. All advanced on the West Coast.
Okay.
And I fear that the East Coast will be next. Because that's where they're based out of, is like East Coast area or somewhere in that area. Don't get me wrong. I can't remember exactly. But what I'm saying, though, is our parts industry has gotten a lot smaller, and a lot of the parts that we used to rely on has gotten to be shit. It really has. So ball joints, steering, suspension, tie rods, Moog is still our go-to for a lot of stuff. Really? But that's even hit and miss. It really is. At some point, you just have to kind of know, hey, we've had problems with this on this style of vehicle. Now, I'm talking the crapshoot side where we work on everything. So OBS stuff, though, is I've always liked the Moog stuff. It's been good. But ball joints, what we're finding out with ball joints is, it used to be ball joints, we'd install them and we wouldn't get any memory steer.
Right.
Well, nowadays we get a ton of memory steer from our ball joints. And I think the reason being is that I think manufacturers have gotten really shy about tolerances. So they're making our ball joints tighter and tighter.
Yes.
So we press them in the knuckles. We install them. We torque them to what factory specs is or what their spec is. And you go to grab the knuckle and you turn it side to side and you notice it's tight.
Like
super tight, like hard to turn.
Hard to turn.
So what that creates is what we call memory steer. When you drive down the road, you're always like chasing the vehicle.
You're driving it constantly.
Yes, I would call it chasing it.
Yeah.
And one thing you'll notice is if you got your ball joints too tight, you'll notice when you go around a turn and you let go of the wheel, it doesn't return.
Yep.
Now that also has to do with how much caster you have in the vehicle.
Totally.
If you have like no caster in it, it's going to do that, right? But you want to have caster in it so it returns. But let's just say you have stock caster in it and your ball joints are too tight. You go around a turn, you let go of the wheel, and the wheel does not return. 99% of the time, that's because your ball joints are too tight.
Yeah.
And you torque them to factory specs or what they want for specs. And what's happening, I believe, is we had so much warranty stuff back in the day that we'd have play in our ball joints after 20,000 miles or 15,000 miles. The manufacturer's like, hey, let's make these tighter, which then makes it so we have more resistance when we put it together, which then creates more memory steer when you get it back together.
And then they're not on the hook because
right.
When you, as the tech,
goes
to diagnose it,
right.
You're like, well, the ball joints are still tight.
Yep.
As in there's no clunking. So you're not calling a warranty on it. It takes the liability off of them in the driver experience side, and it puts it on you as the shop owner and the installer. And you're like, well, the reason is these ball joints take thousands of miles to break in and actually drive right.
So then you're dealing with a customer that's like frustrated that they just spent money for all this maintenance work and the vehicle drives worse than it did.
Oh, yeah. I deal with this every time I sell a suspension kit. which we've been selling them quite a bit lately, and it's fantastic. And I tell everybody, they're like, what should I replace while I'm in there? I'm like, well, I would definitely do axle shaft U-joints, ball joints, like all the things that are kind of hard to get to when it's all put together, you know?
Yes,
And
100%.
the thing I tell them is like, on the ball joints, here's the deal, because typically we're selling either steering and suspension or just suspension. And when they put it all in and then they go out and drive it and it drives funky and it's got a ton of memory steer, they immediately want to blame it on the suspension. I don't blame them. I totally get that because you just installed new suspension that's custom, but you also installed new ball joints. And I try and make it utterly clear, like, look, if your ball joints and your knuckles do not move like very freely after you've torqued them to spec and you put them in, then you are going to have memory steer issues and it's going to drive funky, no matter what the suspension's doing.
Correct.
Period.
It sucks because it's gotten to the point where I feel like all of our shit. I mean, what is that one company we've been using for a while? I'm just brain farting here. They're green. Mevotech. I like their shit. Their shit seems to be like some of the best. I'll pick that over Moog all day long.
You don't find it to be too stiff?
I think it's the same as Moog. I think they're doing the same tolerances, but I like their install stuff. I like their grease certs better. I feel like they give a shit more on the pack. Like when you get them, they're a little.
They've got good package. They've got all that.
Yeah, but I think they can come with an install ring on some of our Super Duty stuff. Like they got their shit figured out. I think we just run them a little bit loose at first when we go to install, and then you tighten them after you go drive it for a little bit.
How do you tighten them after you go drive it?
I just fucking like pull it back in and we have a wrench like ground down to get underneath there and fucking tighten them down a little bit.
Just give them a little crank.
Yeah. I think it's gotten so bad though that you can't go off of what their specs are or the factory specs.
Well, and when you're tightening the ball joints, at least the way we'll do it is like while tightening, we're working that knuckle back and forth.
We do the same thing, and then we also peen it at the top with a with a ball peen hammer to shock it like a U joint.
Yep.
To get it to unload, and that helps too. But
same.
I don't know, but the parts industry to me has gotten real shitty in the last couple 5 years, maybe longer. 5 to 10. Yeah, the aftermarket part world sucks ass. We try to buy a lot from Ford still.
Same.
Right.
Or Dana Spicer.
Yep.
Like, and we go non-greasable U joints on all the big diesel stuff.
Well, they don't have the hole through them.
Exactly.
Which gives them more, like they're more.
And people are like, well, isn't a greasable better? I'm like, yes and no. Like, if you take a non-greasable and whenever you go to install it, you pull your U-joint caps and you make sure it's all full of grease. Then you put it back together. They are like, the cross and everything is technically stronger because it doesn't have a hole in the middle of it for grease.
There's so much. Yeah, I see both sides of that.
All the rock crawler guys I know, the biggest non-greasables you can run because of that.
Yeah.
They're stronger.
I can see that 100%. All right. Well, what else we got here?
We're getting a little long-winded.
Yes, we are.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Since Kenny posted, unless I'm missing something, do we have a request? No.
Nope.
And we're at 142.
Oh, shit. Well, we haven't hit Marketplace in a couple shows.
Do you want to do one?
Let's do it next one.
Let's do it next one.
We'll hit the Marketplace hard.
Yeah.
All right. We answered some questions. We probably had shitty answers, so I apologize. Corey Martinez, or Cody Martinez, what is the price of eggs in your hood?
Yeah.
Tell us that.
Everybody sent us a comment with the price of eggs.
What the fuck's the price of eggs?
And what parts, like what ball joints and steering components do you guys have the best luck with?
Yeah, let us know. We want to hear.
Be curious.
We're not experts.
No.
Not by any means. And by the way, don't forget about our truck show coming up in August. Don't you forget.
Truck show?
Yeah, like we do this truck show and like we get like maybe 500 or 600 trucks, or we hope for 600 trucks this year. And we're giving away a 33K 1,000-mile truck, OG truck. It's fucking immaculate. And John, you're giving away a suspension kit for pre-reg.
No.
Yeah, Trinity told me you're doing that.
Oh, I am.
And it's August 15th to 16th. It's the No BS OBS truck show. Kenny said we got to plug the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And
you got to be there. I mean, it's a fantastic time. if any of you guys have listened long enough, you know I don't even own a show truck.
No,
I show up, I run what you brung sort of deal. It's a
maybe we should change the name of the truck show called the Nobius OBS Run What You Brung show.
Yeah,
that's what we should do.
It's not a bad thing.
We should change the name of the show. That way people don't fucking go, oh, I don't have a show truck and I can't show up. Because we don't care about show trucks. We care more just about people with OBS Fords that are like-minded individuals who want to hang out and just bullshit.
And it's fun. You'll meet somebody there. You'll meet people from every walk of life.
Correct. Old people, young people, medium range, all that shit.
Hippie people, truck people, like everybody's there. We have a really good time. You guys give away what, 35, 40 grand worth of...
Well, it's a raffle thing.
Yes. So not giveaway.
This year though, I'm so stoked. I told Kenny and Lisa for the last 4 years, I've been always wanting to give away a truck at the truck show. What is that?
I have no idea.
Did you order a helicopter?
Oh, shoot. That's my helicopter.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah, because I made it big on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways.
But I've always wanted to give away a truck, and I'm stoked to give away a truck. And it's not just like any truck. It's a low mile, all original, 460. I know it's a 460, and people are going, oh my gosh, that's 7.3, but 460.
It's way better.
It's so clean. That truck is so clean.
Yeah.
Kenny and I are looking at the bed. There's not the bed is immaculate.
Could you imagine a 33,000 mile 7.3? It's going to leak oil. It's going to blow O-rings on the way home from the turbo to the oil rails. And it's going to be a pain.
Listen, so I hope people show up to this show. If not, this will be the last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just go wakeboarding instead and surfing instead.
Dude, count me in. It's going to be a good time. You guys are going to love it. It's at the Powerland Heritage Park in Brooks, Oregon, which has
all kinds of cool museums, dozer museums, fire truck museum.
And you can bring your significant other, even if they're not as into the same things you are. There's still great entertaining things that everybody can enjoy, including kids, including wives, husbands.
We'll have a bounce house there, a couple food vendors there. So check it out, you guys. I hope to see everyone there. If you own OBS, and even if you don't, let's say you live across the United States, fly in. We're not that far from Portland, sadly, and we're not that far from Eugene, the two major airports. And maybe you want to see Central Oregon, Bend, fly into Redmond, hang out in Bend, then travel over the pass.
Yeah.
Come to the show.
Come out. It's really a good time. And if you're one of those people that's like, well, I live too far away, I guarantee you somebody further than you has driven to the truck show.
We just opened pre-reg up, and we've already got Texas. I saw, where was it? Another one Lisa said there was someone from New Mexico, I think. So there's people driving. They generally people are like, oh, it's too far away. I'm like, well, these guys drive every year.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian Castleman from Texas is coming as well.
We've had people drive from full-blown East Coast.
Yeah. All
the way there. And it's so fun.
Now remember, it's not a truck show. It's more of a truck gathering.
Yeah, it's just meet up.
Yep, hang out.
All right.
John, thanks so much.
Of course.
You're listening to Truckery Podcast. I'm Dan with OBS Solutions.
I'm John with Garrett Customs.
Thanks, guys.
We will catch you next time.